Yo, what is up fam? It's your boy Legend and I'm back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto was the strongest Hashira? If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. You already know what the like goal is, so hit that like goal. If we could get more than our like goal of 6, that would be nice. You already know what our sub goal is for the end of the month too. So let's see if we can hit that. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. The soft rustle of Naruto's Hiyori echoed gently through the halls of Ubuyashiki's mansion as he stepped back inside, the quiet serenity of the estate standing in contrast to the storm of emotions he felt only days prior. His breathing was steady now, his steps sure, and his body felt lighter than it had in weeks. The pressure that had once gnawed at his thoughts had ebbed, leaving behind clarity and quiet confidence. He had completed 2 more techniques of his nature breathing style, the 4th form, Verdant Pulse, and 5th form, Blooming Mirage, designed with precision and fluid deadliness. With 5 techniques now at his disposal, Naruto had forged his new path with the same discipline and determination that once led him to master Sage Mode. Trailing behind him, Mitsuri Kanroji hesitated at the threshold of the entranceway. Her footsteps were light, almost silent, yet her heart pounded like a ceremonial drum. Her eyes were fixed on Naruto's bare back, glistening faintly with the sheen of sweat from recent training. She had seen him spar with the air, the sun catching his movements like fire through leaves. Every motion had been a symphony of grace and strength, intimidating yet beautiful. She opened her mouth, but no words came. What was she even trying to say? She didn't know how to ask him, to invite him, to cook for him, to be near him just a little longer. Instead, she stared, lips parting in silent confusion. Naruto finally turned around, catching her gaze with one of his own, his tone gentle. "Is everything alright, Mitsuri?" She blinked, startled, as if waking from a trance. Her face flushed a soft pink, and she averted her eyes briefly before looking back up. I just wanted to know if you'd like to come over to my estate and have lunch together." Naruto blinked. Then a small smile formed on his lips, calm and warm. "Sure, just let me know what time." The next day, the scent of simmering sauces and baked sweetness drifted through Mitsuri Kanroji's estate. Her kitchen was a flurry of movement as she darted from stove to oven to the table, balancing trays with her usual ease and enthusiasm. She'd risen before dawn, hands flying through every recipe that she knew. Roast chicken, steamed vegetables, glazed carrots, garlic bread, miso soup, apple pie, and a basket of fresh rice balls were just the beginning. Naruto sat at the long dining room table, the late morning sunlight streaming in through the wide windows behind him. The light caught on the walls, painted in soft pastels, matching Mitsuri's bright and affectionate energy. He hadn't known what to expect, maybe a light meal and casual conversation. What lay before him looked like a festival feast. Mitsuri practically bounced over, holding yet another dish, grilled salmon with lemon butter. She gently set it down before sitting next to Naruto, her hands folded neatly in her lap. Her eyes, wide and hopeful, shimmered with quiet excitement as she watched him pick up a spoonful of mashed potatoes. Naruto took the bite, chewed slowly, and froze. He blinked, then picked up a stalk of asparagus and ate that too. His hands moved almost robotically toward the roast chicken. One bite in, and he lowered the piece back onto the plate as tears shimmered at the corners of his eyes. "Mitsuri," he said, voice thick with emotion. "All of this is amazing. It's the best food I've ever had. He paused, swallowing hard. "It's sadly even better than ramen." Mitsuri's heart skipped a beat. Naruto smiled, setting his utensils down briefly. "Mitsuri, you'd make a great wife for someone one day." Her cheeks flushed deep crimson, and for a second, her breath caught in her throat. She looked away quickly, her hand brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Thank you," she whispered. "I'm really glad you think so." And for the first time in a long while, a peaceful warmth settled between them, not forged in battle or forged in duty, but born simply from food, affection, and quiet companionship. Meanwhile, off in the distance, Tanjiro slipped the wooden box that held Nezuko onto his back as Zenitsu and Inosuke got ready themselves before leaving the old lady's residence. They had another mission together. They had to go and act as reinforcements for some other slayers in Mount Natagumo. The three of them walked, not knowing how long it would take for them to get to their destination. As the three of them walked, Zenitsu spoke. "Tanjiro, how come you didn't tell us about Nezuko sooner?" The three slayers continued to walk as Tanjiro looked up into the sky with a smile on his face. "I don't know, but don't think it's because I don't trust you. I just see it as my own problem, something that I have to fix." The three of them continued to walk before Tanjiro spoke again. "Hey Zenitsu, thank you for protecting Nezuko. I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to her." Zenitsu looked at Tanjiro and smiled with a nod. Inosuke, however, turned his head and huffed, a plume of smoke coming from the nostrils of his boar mask. Back with Naruto. Naruto was in the mansion with Kagaya Ubuyashiki. The man's condition was slowly getting worse. The purple markings were spreading over his skin in thick, consistent patches. He reached up, needing help to stand, so he could go and walk to the bathroom so he could go and take his daily bath. It was Naruto who took the hand. He pulled Kagaya to his feet, and then picked him up into a piggyback carry. Kagaya let out a long, tired breath. "I was expecting Amane to help me. Not my strongest Hashira." Naruto continued to walk. "Well, your wife isn't here. She went out to go and get more food for you and the family." Naruto set Kagaya down on a stool in his spacious bathroom. "Can you handle your clothes, or do you need me to, Kagaya chuckled. "I can undress myself." Naruto nodded and went to leave the bathroom, but was stopped as Kagaya spoke. "Naruto, later. I would like to have a word with you." The blonde nodded, and he walked out of the bathroom, leaving the man who changed his life alone. 3 hours later, the sky had dimmed to a gloomy shade of gray, and the thick fog coiled like a serpent at the foot of Mount Natagumo. Zenitsu, Agatsuma, paced restlessly at the base of the mountain, the eerie sounds of cicadas and distant calls only heightening his nerves. Each step he took was accompanied by a pitiful whimper, his arms hugging himself as if that might ward off whatever horrors lay above. Why did it have to be a creepy mountain?" he muttered, shivering more from fear than the damp chill in the air. His yellow Hiyori fluttered slightly with each trembling movement. "I hope Tanjiro and Inosuke are safe up there. It would be really bad if they died." He then stopped abruptly. His heart skipped a beat as a dreadful realization hit him. "Wait a second," he gasped, eyes growing wide as saucers. Tanjiro took Nezuko up there! Nezuko! That mountain is dangerous! Without thinking further, he shouted to the dark canopy above, Don't worry, Nezuko! I'll save you! Despite the fear still twisting in his gut, Zenitsu began to climb. His steps were small and hesitant at first, almost comical in their slowness. But his resolve pushed him forward. The mountain was cloaked in a strange, damp mist that rolled down in waves, thickening as he ascended. The trees, twisted and dark, reached out like skeletal limbs, and the ground beneath him crunched with broken twigs and the occasional dissected insect. Zenitsu's breathing was erratic, his senses on high alert. Every shadow moved, every distant snap of a twig sent his imagination spiraling, but still he pressed on. Back at the Butterfly Mansion, a different kind of stillness settled over the estate. Within a grand but quiet chamber, Naruto knelt side by side with Giyu Tomioka and Shinobu Kocho. Head slightly bowed before them sat Kagaya Ubuyashiki and his serene wife Amane. The silence in the room was almost reverent, broken only by the faint crackle of a nearby lantern. Kagaya's gentle, breathy voice filled the room, each word deliberate and calm, yet weighted with the gravity of the situation. Many of our slayers have already fallen at Mount Natagumo, he said, eyes closed but presence unwavering. We've sent reinforcements, but even they are struggling to survive. He opened his eyes slowly. The light in them was dim, and yet, behind that frailty was the unmistakable spark of leadership. That is why I entrust the three of you with this mission. You must eliminate whatever threat resides there, for the sake of the fallen and those who still draw breath. Naruto, Giyu, and Shinobu offered a synchronized nod. Without another word, the three Hashira stood in unison and exited the room. The solemnity of the mission etched into their expressions. They strolled through the mansion, each gathering their gear with fluid precision. Naruto secured his light green Hiyori and its swirling Uzumaki crest blending subtly into the design. His Nichiren blade, distinct in its light green and silver hue, was fastened tightly to his side. Giyu wore his signature half and half Hiyori, cool and stoic as always. Shinobu's violent butterfly pattern coat fluttered with her swift movements, and she gave a nod to the nurses as they passed on their way out. Once outside the mansion's gates, the three broke into a run, the wind brushing against their faces as they sped along the road toward Mount Natagumo. They ran in synchronized silence for several minutes until Naruto's calm, contented chuckle broke through the rhythm of footfalls. Shinobu glanced at him, curious. Uzumaki-kun, what's funny? Naruto tilted his head slightly, the corner of his mouth curling up in amusement. It's just, this is the first time I've gone on a mission with someone else and haven't been annoyed. Shinobu blinked, her face visibly reddening. A flustered frown crossed her lips as she turned her gaze away. She recalled the first mission they had taken together. Naruto had been cold, almost dismissive. It wasn't just his words. He hadn't said much at all. It was his energy. The irritation had been palpable. And now he was smiling. Before she could compose a witty comeback, Giyu cut in. I didn't know the two of you were so close, considering Uzumaki-san prefers to work alone. Shinobu's cheeks grew even hotter. Her mouth opened slightly, as if to respond, but she found herself speechless. That wasn't something she had meant to admit aloud. Naruto laughed again, light and genuine. Don't overthink it, he said. You're just less irritating than the average person. That's a compliment coming from me. Despite herself, Shinobu allowed herself a smile to tug at the corner of her lips. I'll treasure it forever. The three of them continued onward, a subtle but meaningful bond forming between them. One forged not just through combat, but quiet trust. The air around them shifted as they neared Mount Natagumo. The smell of moisture and rotting foliage thickened. The once clear sky darkened to a foreboding gray. As the trio neared the base of the mountain, they could already sense the malevolence that clung to the terrain. Dark clouds swirled unnaturally overhead, and even the birds had gone silent. Naruto came to a halt, raising a hand. Giyu and Shinobu stopped behind him. We're close, he said, voice low but sure. Be ready. From here on, it wouldn't be just demons or danger. They faced it was the unknown. A mountain where the cries of slayers had gone unanswered, where something old, venomous, and cruel had made its home. With slow, deliberate steps, they began their ascent into the shadows of Mount Natagumo. Meanwhile, Zenitsu had only made it partway up the mountain, now gasping and whining beneath his breath. With every step, he ducked beneath thick webs, stretching between trees, each one sending shivers down his spine. Why are there so many spiders? What kind of evil place is this? And yet, the thought of Nezuko kept him moving. Above them all, unseen in the shadows, figures with pale faces and too many eyes waited, watching. The web of fate was tightening, and Naruto Uzumaki, along with the two strongest Hashira, were going to walk right into the spider's den. Meanwhile, both Tanjiro and Inosuke jumped back as a massive hulking figure slammed down from a tree, making a large crater in front of them. The two slayers didn't even sense the spider demon known as Father. The demon then lunged at the two of them. Its speed was bordering on overwhelming for the two low-ranking slayers, but they managed to dodge away. Tanjiro brandished his Nichiren sword. As he spoke, I didn't even realize he was that close. Inosuke had both of his Nichiren blades in his hand as he hunched over slightly. This must be one of the 12 Kizuki. Before Tanjiro could respond, they jumped apart from each other. However, Inosuke doubled back. Tanjiro blocked a strike from the demon, but the blow was strong, and it slammed him into a tree. Before the demon could follow up on Tanjiro, Inosuke was in front of him, blocking and parrying the hit from the demon. Tanjiro got his bearings back as he jumped over Inosuke, as he took a breath. Water breathing, first form, water surface slash. Tanjiro swung his sword as it came down on the demon's muscular arm, but it didn't cut clean through. The blade got stuck in the demon's arm. The demon flung Tanjiro into Inosuke as the two were sent flying back. The two stood as Tanjiro spoke. Inosuke, if we want to cause any lasting damage, we need to strike at the same spot at the same time. Inosuke pointed his nose into the air. I was thinking that. I just didn't say it. Both slayers rushed forward, naming their attacks, as the two of them sliced downwards, severing the demon's arm. As the demon's arm hit the ground, there was a loud clap of thunder that rang out in the distance. However, there was no rain or clouds in the sky. Back with Naruto and the other two Hashira, the three of them were now up the mountain when the three of them heard a thunderclap. They all looked up, seeing no clouds. They all then looked to the left, and Shinobu was the first to see the footprints in the dirt. She was the first to peel off from Naruto and Giyu as she followed the sound of thunder and the footprints. Naruto and Giyu moved at a brisk pace, their footsteps light but swift as they moved their way through the dense, shadowed mountain trails. The air grew colder, more tense with each step, and the quiet of the forest was thick with dread. Trees loomed overhead like silent sentinels, the canopy allowing only scattered slivers of moonlight to illuminate the narrow paths. Suddenly, a scream pierced the silence. They both stopped. Their eyes shot upward just in time to see a figure hurling through the air, launched from somewhere deep within the mountain. The arc of the body against the moonlight gave no clue of the identity of the person. The scream was disoriented by the distance, but was unmistakably human. Naruto and Giyu exchanged a glance. Then, without a word, they split. Naruto headed toward the source of the disturbance, the direction from which the body had flown, while Giyu sprinted off to intercept the falling figure. The deeper Naruto went into the forest, the more suffocating the air became. The scent of blood was heavy now, clinging to the damp bark and earth like fog. And then he saw them. Bodies. Demon slayers strung up like grotesque ornaments in the trees, cocooned in thick strands of spider silk. Some dangled limply, already dead, their faces pale and bloodless. Others twitched or groaned, barely clinging to life. Naruto's stomach churned. He didn't hesitate. With swift, efficient strikes, he cut each of them down, gently lowering the survivors and offering a few whispered reassurances before pressing forward. It wasn't long before he arrived to the clearing, and there, locked in a losing struggle, was Inosuke. The boar-headed slayer was pinned against the tree trunk, one massive grotesque hand wrapped around his masked face. The demon towered over him, thick, limbed, and hunched. Its skin molted and gray, resembling a spider's tough exoskeleton. Its grip was slowly tightening, threatening to crush Inosuke's skull like a fruit. Naruto exhaled slowly, his expression blank, unimpressed. He drew his blade with a casual motion. In a blink of an eye, he vanished. A flash of yellow light streaked through the air. The sound of slicing wind followed. Then, with a dull thud, the demon's thick arm dropped to the forest floor. Inosuke gasped as the pressure vanished, and the beast let out a guttural roar. "You're not even a challenge," Naruto muttered as he sheathed his blade. The demon took one step toward him and then collapsed in half. Its torso slid from its lower body, black blood gushing out like a severed pipe. A clean, perfect, diagonal cut had cleaved it in two. Its head hit the ground moments later. Naruto had used no chakra, no breathing style, just raw, overwhelming speed and precision. Inosuke staggered to his feet, clutching his ribs. His mask cracked. Blondie! Oi! Blondie! How did you do that? That was one of the 12 Kizuki, wasn't it? That monster? He was one of them, right? Naruto didn't stop walking. "No," he said flatly. "That wasn't one of the Kizuki. Believe me, I know." He turned, his head slightly, just enough for Inosuke to see the fire in his eyes. "I've killed one of them before, with my bare hands." The air around Naruto grew still. Even the forest seemed to quiet at his words. Inosuke stood frozen, stunned into silence. And Naruto disappeared once more, already walking into the next shadows that awaited him. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.